Hi, my name is Carol Butzke. I am working with the Wisconsin Museum of Quilt and Fiber Arts, and I'm telling the story of this particular quilt from the collections of the museum here in Cedarburg, Wisconsin on Friday, August 17th, 2018. This quilt was made by Josephine Markowitz, who was the wife of Robert Markowitz, who was a salesman for a company called Collingborn Mills of Elgin, Illinois. That was a company that made quilt die-cut patterns that you could purchase. So all the pieces were pre-cut and that you could then apply to your backgrounds or piece together to make the completed quilt. Robert was a salesman for Mary McElwain, who was well known throughout the United States as an entrepreneur from 1911 to 1943 when she passed, and then the company continued into the 50s. She was very particular about the workmanship that came out of her shop. She sold fabrics, she sold the die-cut kits, as this one is, and she also had people who would quilt for her from both Wisconsin and Kentucky, but very particular. They had to be able to quilt at least 10 stitches to the inch to be able to work for Mary. This quilt was put together by Josephine and then brought back to the shop and was quilted by the quilters at the shop. Mary had also a catalog that was published in 1936 of quilt patterns that she sold. Many of them were from Marie Webster. As you can tell, she had die-cut kits. There were a couple of designs that she herself also made. But also in the catalog, she would sell thread. She would sell only Peter Pan fabric because she thought it was the best and the only fabric to be used in quilts. And it has a certain patina that when you see them, you recognize that after seeing several of the quilts. You come to an understanding of that wonderful creamy color is probably Peter Pan. Also, she sold stencils, and in here there's a particular stencil of a lovely wreath. And always her quilters would quilt either a 1/4 inch, 5/8 of an inch, never a 1/2 inch, 5/8 of an inch, or an inch in the grids of the quilts, which is in here. And if you measure the quilts, and one of the hallmarks to tell if it came from Mary's studio is to measure it, and if it's 5/8 of an inch, indeed it came from that particular studio, along with the quality of the work. Also, the double and triple rotting was typical of the quilting that she had her people do for particular clients. She sold quilts all over the country. She was well known. Some of her quilts even went to Europe. She had a radio program for WLS in Chicago. She judged quilt shows and was involved with the infamous quilts program that was part of the 1933 World's Fair Century of Progress, that there was certainly a lot of controversy over because a lot of the quilts never even got to be opened. There were so many quilts that were offered for people. It was the Depression. People thought that they could win some prize money to help their families out. So the response was overwhelming. But this is the quilt that's here. You're welcome to come to the museum, and we'd be happy to show it to you, that you could see it up close along with some of the other wonderful exhibits that we are able to put on here, and of course other quilts that are from Mary's studio, because we are particularly fond and have done an exhibit on her in the past. And that's my story.